As it's a special day today, we have gotten an invite from the German embassy to ask some questions to the German ambassador to talk about the education, job, and career opportunities for Indian students in Germany. So, at a time when different countries are taking different policies, US is making it very hard for Indian students to come to US. Germany wants to attract more Indian students. So, let me ask these questions to the ambassador and let's see what information can we find out today. So, yes, let's go for it. Hi guys, today we are at the German embassy meeting the ambassador himself. So here is Mr. Philipp Ackermann. We are so grateful for the invitation here and we are going to ask him some questions about studying and building a career and life in Germany. So yeah, let's see what we find out.
So thank you very much. Thanks for coming. It's a pleasure meeting you and hearing about your work, and I'm very happy to answer all questions you have.
Welcome Philipp to our channel, Scholar Strategy and 24 North Star. आप हिंदी बोल लेते हैं?
थोड़ा सा.
Okay, so Philipp, you know, world is in a chaos right now, and we have a lot of audience members who look at US for their education, but we know what's going on there. They are feeling a bit unwelcomed by the US, so it's interesting that you guys invite us today. What do you think is the stance Germany is taking right now, as opposed to whatever is happening elsewhere?
So, generally speaking, the world might be in a chaos. Germany is not.
Okay.
That's the first thing to note. It's a very stable and peaceful country, a country that attaches highest value to education, also higher education. So, I think Germany has a century-old tradition of higher education with one of the most sophisticated, top-ranking research institutions in the world. We have to say that there is already a big group of Indian students in Germany. We have 50,000. It's by far the largest Indian student group in Europe, and also, I would say, by far the largest non-German student group in Germany. But I think there is always room to get this number higher. And I think what we should also take into consideration is we want the smartest and the best. And I think many people think of the US right away when they think of going abroad, Australia maybe, or Canada. But you should not forget about Germany. There is the language, of course. That's the first thing. But that comes to mind, I'm sure. But we can talk about that a little later. It should not be in an impediment on your way to find a good education in Germany.
Right. Yeah, I think that's been a perception. They always think of that unless they are very, very proficient in German, they will not be able to thrive there. So do you want to just shed a light on?
So I would say that German is not a prerequisite. Most of the master courses, when you are a graduate, when you go to Germany, are taught in English. When you live in the big cities, Berlin, Frankfurt, Munich, Düsseldorf, Hamburg, there's no problem to get along with English. You will be easy with English. Everybody speaks English. There's a lot of internationalism. 20% of Germany's population are of non-German origin. So you see that there is a huge readiness and openness to converse in English. I would say, however, if you want to continue your life in Germany, if you want to continue to work in Germany, and I think there is a huge opportunity to do that, then I would advise any or every Indian to start learning German. Now, I will tell you one thing. My experience with Indians is that they have no problem to learn properly German. Why? Because you guys speak your mother tongue, you speak English, and very often a third language. So I think with this language setup, you will be finding German much easier than you think. All the Indians I've met in Germany who have been living in Germany for a while, their German is really fluent and very good. So I think don't consider that as a huge impediment.
And I think there are resources available. I think university also provides certain resources.
Basically, I would say that every university offers German courses on the side. Now, studying in Germany is not a cakewalk. You have to really study hard. And I think that many Indian students say, why should we in the evening still, and in addition to what we have to cope with during the day, go to German classes. But I think it's worth it at the end of the day.
Makes sense. I think next concern some students sometimes have is how easy the student visa and then later on the work permit, etc. So do you want to shed a light on that?
With pleasure. Now, when you want to go to Germany, one thing as a student to pursue higher education in Germany, you need one thing, that's an APS certificate. That's very important. You need an assessment of your marks, and that is done through a part of the embassy called APS. That's a procedure that takes maybe 4 weeks. And then you have to apply at the university, then you get your acceptance, hopefully, and then you start the visa program. Now, the visa program is certainly, because it's a long-term visa, it's not something that is done in a week or so. So you have to plan well in advance. Now, you might have seen on our website that it takes a year, but I want to state here that that is a technical mistake. Okay. It is sometimes we get in a bit of a dire situation, for example, when the university acceptance comes late and the semester starts in a couple of weeks' time. That might be a bit of a problem, and we know how to handle this problem. But I think the visa procedure is pretty transparent. Okay. It's based on merit. You have to prove that you are accepted by some school in Germany, and you have to have the APS certificate and the necessary funds. And then the visa process takes its time, but there is a high chance that the visa will be granted after.
So it's better to start the whole process early and
as early as you can, as early as you can. But the procedure is reliable, and unlike the many comments you might see on the social media, our experience is that the students who go to the state universities, to universities which are really of a good quality, they get their visa in time.
And I think one big question right now is like US is focusing on social media profiles of the applicants. Is Germany doing anything like that?
No, frankly. I mean, we don't have time to do that, frankly. We don't even ask your handles. So basically, don't be worried. Your social media.
Privacy is intact. Okay.
Yeah, we have a very strict privacy policy, and we will also that's not something we are looking for.
It's good to know. Follow up on the APS process that you mentioned, because a lot of Indians are struggling with that. Somebody on our audience, because I asked them to post questions for you. One of the questions was, can the APS process be moved like after getting the admit?
So what is the APS is basically your entry document. So if you can spare the 18,000 rupees, and if you consider to go to Germany, I would go to the APS from the very, very first moment you think about it, because that takes 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then you have it. And it's valid for infinity. So it's basically you have it in your hands. It's not going to change.
And it's there for lifetime.
Lifelong. And even if you decide to go a year later or two, it's still valid.
And I would like to highlight the fact that German universities have one of the most cheapest tuition fee all over the world.
Yeah.
And as we were discussing, this is not a reflection of the quality. This is just how your system is. So do you want to just make a comment about that?
Thank you very much, Nissa, because it's very important to understand that in Germany, education, including higher education, is a public good. So I will tell you that state schools, state-run and funded schools in Germany are better than boarding schools and private schools. So when I was a kid, only those kids went to private schools who didn't make it at state schools. And that's different from the US or from Britain.
And India also, yeah.
And India also. So, and that, is also reflected in our higher education system. Universities are generally for free. You have to pay an administrative fee, but this is very low. But that doesn't mean that it's bad education. It's just reflecting the fact that we consider public education or the higher education a public good. And that also is valid for non-European foreigners. Now, there is one or the other university who charges a bit more for non-European foreigners, but that's also nothing compared to what you have to pay in the US. Right. So basically, I would advise people to not to walk into this trap. Low fees means low quality.
Yeah.
What the fact is that in a system where the education is a public good, you have basically the brightest from all strata of society. It's not only the rich ones, it's also the ones who are maybe not that wealthy, who have the chance to come to this university and make a good graduation.
I also want to clarify this for all our audience members, because some of our students have also gone to Germany, and the only thing I've heard about the education there is extremely rigorous, very R&D and all is extremely high funded, and you get great opportunities and infrastructure for there. So I think it's a great opportunity, especially for Indians who are inclined towards STEM fields, because a lot of Indians are. So I think it's a very natural fit between German universities where R&D is the big focus. And if you're looking at a STEM field, then it's a great fit. But overall, what kind of field would you inspire Indians to look at if they're coming to Germany? Like what fields are thriving there where they can build a good career later on?
We have super top-notch technical universities. Engineering is in our DNA, and I think what is so great about German engineering colleges is that you have this cooperation with the industry and the university. So you are very early on, you are on very practical research things funded by the industry, hoping that you can get a good result that is then transferable to production in the industry. That's very good. But I would also say that all that is robotics, AI, all that is life sciences, biomolecular biology, biosciences, physics. So the theoretical science angle is also chemistry is very good in Germany. Now, there is always business. No? I mean, business is something that is always a sort of an end to good jobs. And Germany has also a very, very good tradition of humanities. You have to accept the fact that humanities after your graduation offers maybe a little less of a job opportunity.
Right. In terms of job opportunities, because that always remains a concern for the students when they're going abroad, that after spending on the education or living there for a while, if they want to build a career and job in that country, and are there good like work permit wise and work visa wise, is Germany planning to make it more favorable for international students to build a life there?
So let me start by saying something a little surprising. Why would Germany offer Indian students higher education for free? Why is that? We have something in mind when we do that. And what do we have in mind? We feel that, Indian graduates who have come out of a German technical university also are fabulous skilled labor for the German work market. So what we offer is that after graduation, you have 18 months continuous stay in Germany to find a job. And we do hope that every graduate finds a job.
Right.
And I think chances are pretty high, actually. Now that German economy starts to recover a bit, you'll see that there are many, many job opportunities, mainly in the STEM area, in industries, but also elsewhere. And I think our hope is that, attracting Indian students is that they, at least for a certain time, also stay and work in Germany, pay taxes, be part of the society. And that's for us in a time where demographic development in Germany is very, very difficult. Indian skilled labor is for us a very, very important aspect to keep our level of prosperity. Now, that doesn't mean that every Indian gets a job. You have to apply at the right company. But I've met a lot of students, Technical University Hamburg, who are still in the process of graduating and have already a job now.
Right.
They have been hired during their graduation time. So I think if you pursue the right career in Germany, there is a good opportunity to find a good job also.
Right. And I've also heard many students are able to pursue internships and long-term internships while they are studying.
Exactly.
So what kind of opportunities are possible?
You can also earn a little money on the side. It's limited, but you can work for 20 hours. And these internships in Germany are basically paid also.
Definitely. And if you're somebody interested in research, then obviously fantastic opportunity.
Research is another thing I should mention here. Germany has a very interesting research structure. Of course, at the universities, there's a lot of research, but there is also a network of research institutions that are linked with universities, but not universities. Max Planck, Fraunhofer, maybe you have heard, Helmholtz societies. And there you have really world-class research. So if you are into research, if you want to pursue a career in research, Germany is paradise to a certain extent. I think if you are really good, you can have the most interesting institutions where you can freely do research, well-funded research. And I think the Max Planck Society, which is the most prestigious of these networks, has already a 4-digit number of Indian researchers now who are very happy pursuing their research. If you really are into research in whatever area you are dealing with, there's a wonderful opportunity to get a good job there. We have a very good website called Make It in Germany, where people can find their way into German business, into German job market. There is the German Academic Exchange Service, DAAD, that has a very good website that gives a very, very good overview over the university landscapes. and others, and I think you'll find them in the caption, I'm sure. And it's worth it, doing a little reading on these websites in order to get a good glimpse of what Germany has to offer.
The only thing I think they might struggle is finding spicy food, maybe.
So let me start by saying that we have 3 lakh Indians in Germany. So wherever Indians are, there is also Indian food. So
they will find
I think
food.
Wherever you go, you have one Indian restaurant. It might be run by Pakistanis or by Bangladeshis, but it's still called Taj Mahal, and the spicy level is okay.
And you can find the butter chicken there.
So butter chicken is there, and also South Indian food is there. So that's not a problem. Living in Germany, of course, is different from living in India. That's clear.
Yes,
it's far
yes.
away. But I think my experience is when you talk to Indians who live in Germany, also students, after a period of readjustment, they really find their way easily through German. So you are a bit more on your own than you would be with an Indian university.
Yes.
You have to find your own room. You have to, accommodation is not, there are limited accommodation offers by the universities, but generally speaking, you have to find your own room. You have to open your bank account. But it is, I think, not only a very good experience, but it's not that difficult either. What I would say in Germany, what do you need in Germany? A good pair of hiking boots, I would say, because everybody is hiking in this country, including me. It's a bit of an obsession. Yeah?
Okay.
But it's also a country that's full of nature. And very quickly, when you come from Delhi with this huge agglomeration, it's, you have to go for an hour or two until you are really outside the city. But in Germany, you hop on a train, you are in no time, you are really in a very nice natural environment where you can enjoy nature, you can walk, you can sit and relax. And then there's something which is very, very unique in Germany is cultural activities are mostly subsidized by the government. And that means they are relatively cheap. So going to the theater, to the opera, to the concert, to dance is I think very, very good, and it's relatively affordable. So that's something that is different from the US and the UK also. So I would say life in Germany. Don't be afraid if Germans don't smile. That's something where you have to get used to. Also, we are not as friendly as you guys, but after a while, when you get into contact with Germans, when they invite you over for tea, they mean it. It's not some wording. When they say come over for tea, don't feel afraid.
It's not a facade they are putting.
It's really an invitation which is honest and serious. And once you get German friends, you have them for life.
No, I think if we feel as welcome as in the Germany as we are feeling here, then I think we are good to go. And I think just talking to you, it's making me inspired. If I have to go back to PhD, maybe I'll look at German universities.
You get an extra advisory tutorial by us where to go.
We'll do that. I also like the statement that you made earlier that German universities treat you like young adults, right? And if you are that sort of a driven and ambitious person, then I think Germany is a great place to be.
Sometimes I watch on Instagram and I watch a lot of Indian influencers in Germany. Very, very good guys, actually. I'm very impressed with them. And one guy says that I have been studying in Munich at TUM, at the Technical University. And I had to go to the secretariat to get my diploma. It's not a big celebration. It's, not everybody is with music and everybody in the gowns. And so you go to the secretariat, you get it. And he says, I felt so proud because it was tough. I had 4 years of really, or 2 years, I don't know, of really tough work. I had to go day and night. But I'm so happy that I get this and I feel that I have achieved something. And even though it is less formal and maybe a bit more, let's say, down to earth than in other colleges, he felt that he had really gained a new level in his life. And that I thought was very typical for how Germans
work. Right. No show off, no show off, exactly. But basics and business is done right. So I think, that's a great summary of it. Overall, I would say. Yeah, that's the parting message for our audience here, that I think in this world, I think you have to create multiple options for yourself. And Germany looks like a very, very good option. So I hope you guys will explore it. We will leave more links in the caption below as well. And do reach out to us if you have any more question. I'll definitely get some answers from here because we do feel very, very welcome in this place. And I think you'll feel the same in the country. So do explore your options. And if you have any more questions, do let us know in the comments. So thanks a lot, Philipp. This was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking out this time.
Thank you, Nishta. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.